You know, it's said that summer is the season of love. And I think he's heard that before because dude is cooking lately. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Lombardi Time Brews, where I'm your host, John Del Rey, on location again in beautiful Titletown. Yep, field right behind me. I picked a different spot today so you get some of the beautiful foliage, even. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today is all about training camp practice. Practice number 4 that's been open to the public, practice number 5 in its totality. And the big thing thus far is brand new QB1 Jordan Love has been improving day in and day out. It was said widely that Saturday was perchance the best day that Love has ever had in training camp over his 4 years. And I was there, I got to agree. It's pretty true. He looked crisp, he looked sharp. And I would argue that today, maybe he didn't perfectly match that, but boy, he was of that caliber today at the very least. So I'm going to take you through a bunch of your requests, things that you've asked me to look out for. I'm going to talk a little bit more about Love and really look over the ones, the injuries, the whole deal as to what happened at training camp practice number 5. First of all, injuries. We know that Gary Stokes, Dubois still out with his back injury, Wicks still out with his concussion. I got to say here too, we're getting to the point where now in week 2 of camp, obviously there's still a lot of time left. There's still all 3 preseason games. But to have 2 rookie wide receivers still not practicing. I mean, I know Wicks was out here to start, but Dubois, we haven't seen Dubois in OTAs, haven't seen him in training camp to date. I don't know what exactly is going on with that back, but it is beginning to get a little concerning that 2 rookies to this point still aren't able to practice. You got to wonder, how far along can we get without ever seeing Dubois on the field? How far along can we get that Wicks's concussion, is severe? How far along can we get before this starts to impact 53-man roster decisions? Because I knew Dubois is a draft pick, but if the dude never practices, his chances ain't high. So just bear that in mind. Starting with the ones today, what was the starting lineup for the Green Bay Packers today as we got into team reps? Well, one, I can tell you David Bakhtiari, he was out on a rest day. I don't want to call it an injury. It was just part of his normal maintenance routine of missing stuff here and there, so he did miss today. But the ones in total, the first snap was Jordan Love, A.J. Dillon, Aaron Jones, and then you've got Musgrave as the tight end, Dobbs and Watson, the wide receivers. Offensive line was Yash at left tackle, Elton Jenkins, Josh Myers, John Running Jr., and Zach Tom at right tackle again. Quickly mixing into that, though, was Samari Toure, Jaden Reed. Not surprising at all. Josiah DeGuara also got a good number of snaps there. The one thing that I will say about Musgrave is it's becoming very clear quickly that he's going to be involved. Like, from all appearances through this first week of camp, maybe just as much as Josiah DeGuara, because DeGuara is really looking like an H-back and not getting a lot of tight end stuff. They seem to be giving a lot of that to Musgrave. 2 mixed results, but nonetheless, they're giving Musgrave every chance in the world to claim true tight end 1 pretty early, with DeGuara really entrenched at H-back. So just something to keep an eye on. Defensively, it was Slayton and Clark. They started in their nickel. Okay, so it was Slayton and Clark on the D line. Preston Smith, Quay Walker, Devondre Campbell, Justin Hollins again getting the team 1 reps at edge. And then in the secondary, Jair, Zool, Nixon in the slot, Ford and Savage. None of that is even remotely surprising. That's very much your starting defense, give or take a few little alterations. Quickly in on the defensive right was Kingsley Enagbare and Devontae Wyatt. Again, not checking. Players of the day were Carrington Valentine and Jordan Love. If you're really looking for the plays of the day, that would be one by Carrington Valentine, and he read it like a book. It was in team reps. Danny Etling, fade back, and Danny Etling, he's had an up and down camp. I would say today was probably his worst day of camp. There was one throw, he drops back, he's looking left, and he is honed in on where he is throwing the ball. And Valentine reads it like completely. So Etling throws it to where he's looking. Valentine, it wasn't even a great throw. Valentine jumps in front of it, picks it off. Like, this would have been a pick six, no doubt. home run ball for Carrington Valentine. The only way that he was stopped in practice was Jordan Love and Aaron Jones actually ran over to meet him at the goal line. But Etling was the one who threw it. Valentine's the one who read it. Bad play for Etling. Fantastic play for Valentine. The other play of the day would actually be the training camp refs did call flag on it, but like, who cares? So it was Love to Watson. Love evades pressure, rolls right, and then launches to Christian Watson. A good, like the ball is in the air, probably a good 35, 40 yards. Watson grabs it, finishes it off, 60-yard touchdown. That would have been for the Packers. I believe from some of the stuff that I heard around that the penalty would have been defensive anyway. So touchdown is what we're going to call that. Moving on, more analysis of Jordan Love just on the whole in one-on-ones today, because this is the first time. This is the first practice with pads. This is also the first practice that we saw one-on-one D-line versus O-line reps, one-on-one wide receiver and cornerback reps. Like, this is the first time for a lot of that stuff. And Jordan Love, for the most part, looked quite good. There was, I know, one overthrow that I can think of off the top of my head, but for the most part, he connected very well with his wide receivers. Even some of the bottom of the roster ones were catching balls from Love in one-on-ones. There also was, to end practice today, they did a minute 15 drill. So basically, they put a minute 15 on the clock, and then they have 60 yards to march down the field in order to tie the game in the hypothetical situation. So there was minute 15. Love was trying to go 60 yards. Ultimately, they still keep track of downs, so they basically, it was a turnover on downs, but I got the plays written down for you. Play one, Dobbs is falling down as Quay was in coverage. Quay would have picked it, should have picked it. I mean, it was right on the mitts. But nonetheless, it was as Dobbs was falling down. Snap two was Love to Jones on a little hook route. It was a minimal gain, like we're talking 5 yards maybe. Third down, he threw it to Dobbs again in traffic. It was broken up. Play four was Love rolling right, and then under pressure, rolling right all the way near the sideline, just kind of launches it to Jaden Reed, who's basically doing what looked like kind of a post to the right sideline. And Reed cuts over. It would have been a great catch. It was certainly a catchable ball, not a perfect throw. Would have been a great catch over the shoulder, but it just in and out of Reed's hands and fell to the ground. So ultimately, the offense, the first team offense, suffered a turnover on downs during their minute 15 reps. Overall, though, this was another really, really strong day from Jordan Love. I've gotten questions about his footwork as of late. In the net drills where they run through the pads on the ground and then fire at a net, Love looked good at that again. His feet do look crisp. Sometimes I wonder if maybe he takes a couple extra steps than necessary, but a lot of that does fall on personal preference. But I thought Love looked very, very crisp. He was accurate for the most part in the net drill as well. So again, take it for what you will. Also, it should be noted that the secondary quarterbacks 2 through 4, that would be Clifford, Etling, Magoo. Like I already said, Etling did not have a good day. Clifford was pretty good. Magoo was probably tops of the backup quarterbacks today. Nothing super notable or like wow plays that made you say that, but he's probably was the best of the next today. Other notable things, just one transaction I want to get you caught up on. The Packers had an open roster spot just as of recent, so a little bit ago, they released, if you'll recall, a center named DJ Scaife, someone pretty far down the depth chart. He was an interior offensive lineman. Well, the Packers obviously wanted more depth there because they used that open roster spot on retaining James Empey. This is the roster spot that they had open from cutting Jonathan Garvin. So now they got Empey, a new backup center who inevitably is probably just a camp body. Sorry. Okay, moving on from that. To answer your questions, Anders Carlson did not kick today. Now, as you may have read, he did not have a good day on Saturday. He was very good at OTAs. I think cumulatively was like 5 for 6 at OTAs. And then at practice number 1, he was 5 of 6. It was a very strong day. And then on Saturday, what was most curious was all of a sudden his accuracy just went out the door. I mean, completely. Like, he was 2 for 7 on Saturday, and many of the kicks were 45 yards plus. But nonetheless, he was 2 for 7 on Saturday. And the people around me were immediately saying, Brian, call Mason. They were upset. But Carlson, 2 for 7. He was talked about in LaFleur's press conference today. He was asked about it. And LaFleur said he's not going to overreact. This is a young kicker. And I will say, the curious thing about Saturday was his Carlson's whole flow just looked wrong on Saturday. When I was here previously when he kicked 5 of 6, it looked like a very natural kicking progression. Like you could see the huge leg. But then on Saturday, it just looked off. Like his steps didn't look as elongated as they had been. Everything was just wrong. He looked like a totally different guy. So LaFleur said he's not going to overreact. What they've been yearning for from Carlson all along, and what they knew that they'd have to work on when they drafted him, was consistency. So they are going to continue to work on consistency. Expect him to kick tomorrow. In regards to Odumagu, the International Pathways player, didn't really see him much today. In terms of the wide receiver 6 competition, I know Matt LaFleur over the weekend had some very nice flowery words about Malik Heath, but I got to tell you, from what I'm seeing, Bo Melton again outperformed Malik Heath. Without Dubose there, without Wicks there, like wide receiver 6 job is dwindling options, let's say at this point. But Melton had a very, very nice play on one-on-ones where he cut open, and then it was a deep ball, and he then gestured to the crowd in front of him. Bo Melton has continued to turn out, and I don't understand at this point why more people aren't talking about the camp Bo Melton's having. I know he's like competing for wide receiver 6. He's not a wide receiver lock. I get it. But every single time I've been here, he's made at least one play that's made everyone go, oh, dang, he can do that. It's worth noting. So Bo Melton, very strong day again today with those one-on-one reps. In terms of running back 3, Tyler Goodson does look to be improving on his blocking. He had a very nice combo block today. Lou Nichols, one of his main competitors for running back 3, has had a case of the drops. He dropped a ball in individual drills. He dropped a ball in team reps when he was in as well. So certainly something to be considered. I will say too, I saw that Paul Brettel and others are starting to put out their early 53s, and they have like Lou Nichols and Goodson ahead of Patrick Taylor. I don't know as if I go that far. I really don't. I think Patrick Taylor still might be the favorite of the job, whether you love it, like it, or hate it. I'm just saying, I think he still might be the favorite for the job. And I say that because when the Packers went in for their indoor practice the other day, they basically separated out like the ones and prefers versus the others. And Taylor was in the ones and prefers. Goodson and Nichols were in the others. And that's kind of happened a few times where Taylor's like with the ones. And Goodson's gotten some reps with the ones too, as more of a gadget player. Nichols has not. So bear that in mind as you're considering your 53s. Tight ends, like I already mentioned, Musgrave firmly entrenched, either tight end 1 or 2. They seem to be trying to give him the job at 1. DeGuara focusing predominantly on H-back, sometimes moving out to tight end, but a lot of his snaps that I'm seeing come in the H-back role. Wooden and Brooks today, I got to tell you, 2 rooks had a good day. They did. When it came to pass rush drills, Wooden absolutely annihilated Royce Newman. Now, I know what you're thinking. I know that some of you out there are like, he blew past Royce Newman. That's not hard, John. Everyone blows past Royce Newman. I know, but I'm just saying the way that Wooden did it with the speed and strength was quite impressive. Wooden also did get some pressure, as did Brooks in team reps. And I've noted how Brooks looks lean compared to the other D linemen, but his first step is very, very quick and it's effective. And you could see it come into play in the team reps. Moving on from that, Caleb Jones. I thought Jones had a really good day. I didn't get to see him much in team reps, but I will say when it came to the one-on-one type drills with D linemen, I thought Caleb Jones did very, very well. I saw at least 2 reps that he had one-on-ones against Ladarius Hamilton. He didn't let Hamilton by at all. Let's just say that. Enagbare Toure, didn't see a ton from them today. I will say on Saturday, Toure had another very good day. Now, if you've been following this channel for any stretch of time, you know that I'm not exactly the largest Toure fan. And it's not because I don't like the guy. It's not that I don't want him to succeed. It's just I don't necessarily see what a lot of other people see. But I will acknowledge when the dude has a good day, and Saturday was a very, very good day for Samori Toure. Cox Jr., just to update on him, unfortunately, not exactly an impressive day from him. In pass rush one-on-ones, he wound up just straight up getting handled by a couple different O-linemen. It was consistent. Just did not make waves in one-on-one drills today. And then, other than that, um, well, by golly, I do believe I covered all of my notes. So, hey, look, there's your quick recap about training camp today. The things that I really want to stress to you: Jordan Love has continued to look better and better. Sure, you want to get technical. Maybe today wasn't completely better than Saturday was. But look, the dude actually delivered some deep balls today, and they were on target. That 60-yard play to Watson was not just kind of sort of impressive, it was very impressive. He's showing his skills. That does not guarantee he's going to be a success, but you want to get excited? We're getting to that time that I think you can get a little excited at the very least. Other big things today, reminder today was the first day in pads. Overall, the defense certainly won the day. The offense had its moments, but the defense again won the day. Offense did some push-ups. Tomorrow, expect much the same. We're going to see more one-on-ones tomorrow, I would think. Also, we are going to see actual live kicking tomorrow, so I'll have an update about Carlson tomorrow, which I was unable to provide today. So, practice schedule for this week. There is today. There is tomorrow being Tuesday. There is Thursday. And then there's family night on Saturday, which I'll also be covering. So, you know what? Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you're having a great day today. It was a beautiful one today. It wasn't like 90 freaking degrees and everyone just just wanting to melt into the bleachers at Ray Nitschke Field. No, it was beautiful. It was a good one. I hope you're having a good one. Thanks so much for joining me on Lombardi Time Brews. I'll be back tomorrow with another practice recap. And as always, go Pack Go.